Hey, Clarence, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy. What's so happy about it? I haven't eaten yet. I haven't had good turkey. I haven't good dressing. I did see that the Washington football team feasted on the Cowboys, though.
Ooh, how many times you dropped that gold on
I
Thanksgiving?
mean, serve it up. It's Thanksgiving. Let's serve it up. Bad plays, bad decisions, poor coaching, turnovers. What a host. What a host the Cowboys were today.
Yeah, that's true. Positives, positives. They were really gracious hosts to a team. And Alex Smith, give Alex Smith a lot of credit. So it was really nice of the Cowboys defense. Yeah, they tried a little bit, but by and large, Alex Smith had a great day. And he's a great story to see him come back from an injury where he almost died, almost lost his leg. And now he's beating the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving 41-16. Clarence, you and I have seen some bad Thanksgiving Day games. You saw some of the worst in the Campo era. I can't think of one worse than this.
I mean, there've been some duds, and I remember going back just a few years ago, and it seemed like a million years ago when RG3 lit up the Cowboys on Thanksgiving
right.
Day at the big coming out party, just killed them, and the Cowboys were not in the game, but the Cowboys were in this game. Let's not act like this was not a game. It was 2016, okay? And the Cowboys, after Zeke fumbled, after a horrible decision to go for it on fourth down in the first half, after Jalen Smith has the interception return to the 4, and they lose 3 yards after kicking a field goal, they still had an opportunity. Except Mike McCarthy, the coach, the special teams coach, John Fossil, what were they thinking? 4th down and 10 inside their own territory. If the game is there, punt the ball, play defense, play smart football, yet they go for it on 4th and 10.
Well, the thing wasn't this that they went
give them a walk-in score.
And not only that, it wasn't that they just went for it on 4th and 10. And I get, wanting to catch the other guys, off guard. I get wanting to be cute and trying to take advantage of certain situations. I understand all of that. But Clarence, the decision was mind-numbingly stupid because you got 10 yards to go. But then the play call, you got to go 50 yards the other way to have any shot. I just understand the call on it. I'm like, and then after the game, he got really testy with the media about, defending himself on yet another brain scratcher. I don't care what I know, the analytics guys, the this and that. Clarence, there's no excuse for this. You're right. It's 20-16. You're in the game without your 2 starting tackles. You're in it. And now all of a sudden you basically give the other team the shortest of short fields. They capitalized, score in the game. The game was over right there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just don't know
when the bottom fell out. Then you had the touchdown run and the interception return.
Yep, and it was over.
But and that's how I got
how does McCarthy get defensive on this? What I don't understand is this guy's been in the NFL forever. He's in the brightest stage there is. He wanted this job. He wanted it. And now all of a sudden he's getting testy. I'm like, dude, you own some of this. This isn't all on Dak getting out. This isn't all on Tyron Smith. This isn't all on Zach Martin. You're a part of this too. And I'm sorry, but his decision and him okaying Jem Fossil's decision today is inexcusable. You're supposed to be better than the other guy, right? They let Jason Garrett go because of he wasn't whatever. Well, today, I got to tell you, the first time I was like, good God, do I miss Jason Garrett?
Yeah, and it's not the first time. The fourth down gambles like this is just mind-numbing. I understand, the analytics, and you can talk about that, and you want to have trust in your team and believing the play is going to work. But the risk reward at that point was not there, and at that position on the field, it made no sense. If you're at the 50, it's one thing. If you're on the other side, it's one thing. But deep in your own territory, where even if you make it, you still got 50 yards to go. But if you miss it, you basically handing the game and all of the momentum to the other team, and it demoralized the Cowboys. The Cowboys team that had already entered the game with heavy hearts because of the depth of Marcus Paul. They already had stuff on their mind, and this was just too much for them to overcome.
Clarence, I know watching the broadcast and listening to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, Troy's talked about how much better this defense has improved since the last Washington game where the bottom fell out and everybody was like, okay, we either get better or we're going to get cut. Jerry started to cut guys. The defense has improved. But do you think, because I do, Do you think the Cowboys coaching staff got seduced by that win last week in Minnesota and by some of the progress that they shown, that they thought they were actually better than they are?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt they thought they were better than what they are. They thought they turned the corner. Let's be honest. They thought they turned the corner in the loss to Pittsburgh. Felt, I mean, this was a confident team, cocky team coming out of that loss to Pittsburgh. Hey, we were close against Pittsburgh, with a quarterback right off the street, and our defense was right there. We've improved and we stopped the run. So yeah, they felt good about the improvement they made. They thought they had turned the corner. They were really looking forward to really turning the corner, putting 2 wins together for the first time this season, and really taking control of this horrible NFC East race. And what they got was another blowout loss to Washington. The sad part is, because of the NFC, the Cowboys are technically not out of it. Now, we haven't even had a chance to talk about it, but Baltimore was supposed to play tonight.
Right.
That game was postponed to Sunday. Now their Sunday game with the Steelers may be postponed again because they had more outbreaks. There was a report earlier today that they're not going to can't report to the facility until Monday. So that puts, Sunday's game in the question, which potentially puts the Thursday game because the Cowboys in the question. That may move back to the following Sunday. So we don't know what's going to go on here. But today, after what the week they've had, to really honor Paul the way they did and make the mistakes they've made. I said it, I wrote it. The Cowboys been a bad football team all season. They've been a bad team.
No, they have been a bad team. But
Ezekiel Elliott was another fumble.
Yep.
CeeDee Lamb, wonderful play last week. He drops an easy touchdown this week.
Yep. And he cut that route short on that 4th down play again. It was the same problem he had.
That's what bad teams do.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, the thing that's driving me crazy is that I understand why Jason Garrett had to go. There was no irrational thought to saying, man, we gave this everything we had with you for 8+ years, and it just didn't work out the way we wanted. Anybody would have said, you got to let him go. Let's try a different direction. The thing that is so disappointing to me here at the end of November, whatever excuse that you had, because you had COVID, you weren't able to integrate your new offense and defense and personnel and this, that, and the other, all these new faces, they didn't get the same kind of time. Well, I'm sorry, that excuse is gone. Washington's doing it, right? They're not even playing their starting quarterback, and Dwayne Haskins. They've given up on him. Other teams have done it. Mike McCarthy on this one. I like the guy. He's a good guy. I think he's a pretty good coach. This season, to me, he is the worst of the new hires. I don't know what Jerry saw. I mean, I know what Jerry saw in him, but Clarence, this is a disaster if you're Mike McCarthy.
So far, and again, when we talked this offseason, the biggest offseason addition was supposed to be Mike McCarthy and the coaching staff. He was supposed to be a difference maker. His coaches was supposed to be difference makers. His defense coordinator, because they were going to be exotic and disguise things. Because last year they were too vanilla, and everybody knew what they were doing. So this year they're going to be, disguise things, play multiple defenses and match up and all that other stuff. You got Mike Nolan, you got Mike McCarthy, and John Foster was supposed to be the best special teams coach in the league. So we give him credit for the watermelon kick, but the special teams have been a disaster. Outside of that fake punt, that onside kick, week in and week out, there's something crazy on special teams, and he giving them so much power with these decisions to go for it on 4th down. They have not hit one.
Yeah, and that's the part of it that I just don't see. And I understand if you don't think your team is quite good enough, you got to kind of trick it up and gadget it up. If you don't think that you can just line up and win, which they can't, then I get it. But on this one, and the other part of it is why he got defensive about it after the game. Just own it. Just own, like, man, we tried to do something exotic, catch him off guard. We like the look that we saw. That's the lie. All of these guys say, oh, we like this look. He wouldn't even say that. Just sit there and be like, man, we blew it. Own it. He's got a 4 or 5 year contract. It's guaranteed. Jerry's not firing him unless they lose out. Then he might, but I doubt it. But it was just this idea.
They got excuses across.
Play call.
They got excuses across the board.
Yeah, and then you touched on it, and it's worth coming back to because, Clarence, I know Ezekiel Elliott has turned the corner, but now he's got a fumble. They had another bad game running the ball, and I realize you're playing with no offensive line that you recognize. When Joe Looney's your guy, that he's your hang your hat on guy, who's basically a career journeyman backup and a great guy. But when he's now the best guy on your offensive line, I think any running back gets kind of a pass, especially when you're playing with the backup quarterback who maybe can't keep defenses honest the way Dak could have going with the vertical game. It's just not Andy the way Andy can do it. But I'm sorry. Whatever excuses that we want to give Ezekiel Elliott, they're gone. And I've got to think at this point, Clarence, he's in his own head about this by now, don't you think?
There's no doubt. And he feels bad about it. This fumble, obviously he wasn't hit. It looked like he was diving and a foot kicked the ball out of his hands. He was going to the ground or whatever else. But, that's just it with this team. It's always something. It's the injuries. The fact that you lose your 2 offensive tackles on the first drive of the game. You have that fumble with Zeke essentially not touched and he's got fumbles himself. They cannot get out of their own way. And I can understand that. Okay, I give you the excuses of the fumbles and things happen. I give you the excuses of the injuries and offensive line. The coaching decisions, that's inexcusable. That's unforgivable. The coaching decision, the coaching took this game away from the Cowboys. It robbed them an opportunity to win this game. It was the decision, despite all those other things, the drop passes, the penalties, the fumbles, the turnovers. It was the coaching decision that turned the tide in this game, and that's not supposed to happen.
No, and I wonder if now that any hint of winning the NFC East with a 3-8 record currently is pretty much gone. Yeah, I know you said it. That they still could. I know, but they're not going.
Philadelphia faces Seattle. They're going to lose.
Yep. No,
the Cowboys still have to face the Giants, and of course Washington. They're in the driver's seat. They're in the catbird seat. They got 4 wins. They're in first place with 4 wins.
At the end of November, basically, they got 4 wins, and they're going to go to the playoffs and host a playoff game. I love the NFL. But, Clarence, last time we saw something like this where the coaching staff put the team in kind of an ish situation, you had anonymous players going to the members of the media saying this staff's clueless, basically hanging them out to dry anonymously. You think we'll see that again?
No, I don't think we'll see that this time because there's so much going on. He's talking to the players of the game. They're still kind of shocked about Marcus Paul's death, the death of the strength coach, and that's still weighing heavy on them. So they got a lot of things going on. So I don't see them pointing to the coaching staff. I mean, there's plenty of, again, you can point to the players and you look on when Jalen Smith is, should have had a touchdown return.
Yep.
Leighton Vander Esch didn't block, the guy. I mean, he didn't give a good effort in blocking Terry McLaurin, and if he would have done that, Jalen Smith probably sails into the end zone, so he gets run down at the 4. But you think, okay, first and goal at the 4. First and goal at the 4. There's nowhere they're not scoring, right?
Oh,
they lose 3 yards in 3 plays and have to kick a field goal.
Yeah, I think, though, Clarence, I think this goes back to a problem that we here in Dallas-Fort Worth have. They beat the Vikings, right? And they outplayed them, and they deserved to win that game. It wasn't like some fluky thing. They outplayed them, and they deserved to win that game. It wasn't like the Vikings were very good. It wasn't like the Vikings are some dynamite team that the Cowboys rolled in. They went into an empty stadium and beat a sub-average team. And right after that, all of us thought, you know what? Maybe they can do it. When what we should have done is no, look at the previous 4 or 5 weeks. This team without Dak, or even really this team with Dak, but without Dak, and think, why would we really think, given what we've seen, given the injuries, given all the things that you've talked about with the coaching staff and things like that, why would we really think that this team was going to somehow put together some run and get to 6 or 7 wins? It was delusionally stupid. It's on us. We're idiots. The team's not that good, and now they're going for a top 10 pick again.
Again.
No
one in this division is any good.
No, they're not.
No one in this division is any good.
They got Baltimore coming up, Cincinnati. Clarence, I think
Cincinnati without their quarterback.
Cincinnati, yeah. So then there we go. They're going to be without their quarterback.
And Baltimore's quarterback tested positive for COVID today.
Right. So they're going to play.
Chance.
Hey, good news. Last time Andy Dalton played Robert Griffin III in college, okay, Andy Dalton beat him. So positives. San Francisco doesn't have their quarterback. Together? It doesn't matter.
Were they in college together? Goodness gracious.
They were. I know, it was 100 years ago. So, Clarence, at this point, you got 5 games left. Yeah, I know this, you still got a shot at it. What are you playing for now?
Yeah. I don't know. They're not ready to admit they're playing for a draft pick. They're playing for pride. I mean, you know, and I understand fans who want to play for the draft pick. But for Mike McCarthy, he don't want 3-13 on his resume.
No way. No, not in his first year. That's humiliating. Well, this has been fun.
They need some momentum. They got to do something. We'll see if they get it. The schedule is set up for them to gain momentum. But again, the Cowboys can't get out of their own way.
No, and the schedule is to start without momentum today. They were a 3-point favorite today, and they couldn't even take advantage of that. Clarence, happy Thanksgiving. Best to your beautiful daughters and your family. And maybe this time, when we do this next time, the Cowboys won't have lost by more than 15 or 20 points. It'll be a little bit closer. See ya.
All right.